Hey everybody, it's your boy Ryan Shead here, and as you can see, I have Senator Mark Kelly here with me. He is a retired captain and You're still a captain, right?
I'm still a captain in the United States, well, retired captain in the United States Navy. I served 25 years in the Navy. Nice. So I was in 06. Pete Hegseth plans to demote me.
Yeah.
So I sued him.
Good.
I won round one. He's appealing. These guys like to double down on losing.
Lose that too.
Yeah, they like to go losing multiple times.
Multiple.
Yeah, that's what losers do.
He is very good at losing, sir. But let's get started because I know there's a lot of issues that we have to talk about.
Yep.
You're spending a lot of time in D.C. and I'm proud to be one of your constituents. I voted for you. I will vote for you again.
Thank you.
And I just want to thank you for doing a good job on our behalf and representing us well.
Appreciate that.
So here's my first question. You've had one of the most uniquely American careers imaginable. Navy combat pilot, astronaut, supportive husband, and now U.S. Senator. How have those experiences and challenges shaped your approach to the high-stake issues you're currently navigating in Washington?
So I've done like complicated, things throughout my career, whether flying off of an aircraft carrier or being a test pilot or later 15 years as an astronaut flying the space shuttle, which is a really complicated machine on some really challenging missions. One of the things I realize is I don't know everything. And that success comes from building a team and working together. And, leadership is about listening to other people. Put smart people around you. Consider their advice. Be okay with being wrong on things. And I think that's where this president goes sideways and really gets our country off track because he thinks he's smarter than everybody else.
Yeah.
And sorry to say to him that he's not.
No, he's making a lot of poor decisions, and I think the results speak for themselves. So, sir, as a fellow veteran, I'm dying to ask you. The video, the unlawful orders. First, my question is, would you do it again?
Oh, yeah, in a second. Now, it did get a lot of attention, so a lot of people saw it.
Yeah.
A lot more people saw it because Donald Trump said I should be.
Saw it.
Yeah, because Donald Trump said I should be hanged, executed, prosecuted. Guy can't even get the order right.
No.
But yeah, a lot of people saw it because of him not liking what we said. And if you don't believe what we said, it means you must believe the opposite.
Yeah.
And that's concerning. And we put the message out there because we know who he is, and he has said some things in the past that cause great concern to the six of us. And we said something that's in the law. It's in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. You don't follow unlawful orders. Not only do you not have to, you're required not to.
Yep.
This is something that people are taught.
It's our duty.
But maybe not reminded. Frequently enough. So we're just reminding people, and for that he said we should be killed.
Well, I got to say, I don't know how you all feel, but I think that one aged like a fine wine, especially in the face of all the unimaginable incompetence and questionable military orders. So,
what branch of service?
I was Air Force.
The Air Force?
Yeah, I started out on...
What kind of airplanes did you work on?
F-15s. I started at Kadena, and then became a contractor and actually did F-18 program at Oceana in Virginia Beach, and started doing the depot there. So
cool. I used to fly the F-18 when I was a test pilot. Operationally, I was an A6 guy. I've been to Kadena multiple times.
What was the biggest problem the F-18 had while you were flying it?
I had an APU fire once.
Really?
Yeah. That's I think that's the biggest. I don't think I ever lost an engine in the F-18. I did an A6. One airplane I still want to fly that I haven't yet is the F-15.
Really?
Yeah,
those are bad planes.
Yeah, I want to fly the F-15EX at some point here. I flew an F-16 about 2 years ago against an F-35.
Yeah, we called those lawn darts.
Yeah. Got a good turn.
Speaking of aircraft and fighter jets, Iran continues to be a flashpoint. And as somebody who's done time in the military and been in the Senate and just around all this, what's your read on where things stand? And more importantly, what should U.S. foreign policy look like going forward from your position?
Well, here's the thing with this conflict is the president never made a good case for why he decided to do this.
Yeah.
He didn't present to the American people, what is, how does this help them?
Yeah.
How does this help people afford rent and gas and groceries and send their kids to school? How does it help them with the health care,
Yeah.
that they currently, many people can't afford? And, his rationale for doing this went from, it was about nuclear weapons to regime change to oil to ballistic missiles to
Back
their
to the
navy
nukes.
to back to regime change, back to nukes, then over to a imminent threat of something in the future.
Yeah.
Did you get
We
that
didn't
one?
hit
Imminent
that. Yeah, imminent.
and
Yep.
future, imminent and future don't go well together. So,
No. But
so what should our policy be? Hey, the regime he was a bad guy.
Oh, hands
Now
down.
he's replaced with his son, who is a worse guy,
Yeah.
as far as we can tell right now. And they still have enriched uranium, and to get the uranium out of there is really, really challenging. He's also the guy that ripped up the nuclear deal in 2018 that had enrichment levels below 5%.
Yeah.
Now it's up to 60%. So if the rationale is about nuclear weapons, well, he created this
the
crisis. He created the problem.
Yeah.
And now he's flailing and trying to fix it. He has no overall strategic goal here right now. I've got a list of 14 reasons why he did this. He has no plan. He has no timeline. He has no exit strategy. And my worry is we wind up with these Marines that are now on their way there. A Marine Expeditionary Unit, 2,500 Marines are on their way there. What kind of harm's way are they going to be in?
Yeah. And what's that going to lead to? Usually
Yes.
when you start sending 2,500 troops, there's going to be some more behind.
And 20% of the world's oil goes through the Straits of Hormuz. It's affecting oil prices already, and it's affecting gasoline prices and natural gas. Here. And that drives up the cost of everything over time.
Yeah.
Energy costs feed into everything.
Yep.
I mean, fertilizer actually comes through the Straits of Hormuz, so food costs are going to go up. So we go back to where I started. What was in this for the American people? I still can't figure that out.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what bothers a lot of people the most is that, like you said, there's no long-term plan. And it reminds me of Afghanistan. He set the timetable, but they had no plan.
Yeah.
So it left Democrats and Biden administration to come up with the plan. And then they complained about us carrying it out and, all that. So it's going to be interesting to see how long we're there. It seems like you and I both agree that it's not going to be a 1 to 2 month endeavor.
Well, we don't know. I mean, at some point he could just decide to end this thing, and as we know he would do, he would say
think he'll be able to end it at this point?
I don't know. I mean, he'll declare victory without any kind of strategic goal having been met because he didn't have one. Where does that leave us, right? Do you wind up with a regime in Iran under the sun, or whoever might come third? We'll see what happens to him. He was injured. But do you wind up with a government that decides to race to get a nuclear weapon without the benefit we had from the IAEA being in there and being able to monitor what's happening?
Yeah.
So we might find out in 6 months or a year they might test a nuclear weapon, and now we have a country like North Korea that we have to deal with.
Yeah, and they're testing missiles.
Yes, all because Donald Trump doesn't listen to people around him, doesn't have great advisors. He's got Pete Hegseth, I think is one of the most unqualified secretaries of defense we've ever had.
Yep.
And he rushed into this thing without a plan.
Yes, sir. What emerging threats, technological, geopolitical, or otherwise, do you think policymakers are not paying enough attention to right now?
Nuclear weapons. And it's not new, but the New START treaty expired. Okay. So we're currently operating under no nuclear weapons treaty with Russia. China was not a part of it, and they continue to say they do not want to be a party to a nuclear weapon treaty. But when we don't have a treaty with Russia, they're going to probably start doing more tests. Donald Trump said he's going to start testing nuclear weapons again. By the way, we don't need to test our nuclear weapons because we have decades of data. Yeah, we have decades of data. But we run the risk of just increased production.
Yeah.
And we could wind up building tens of thousands more nuclear weapons on both sides. When we have more weapons, there's more chance for miscalculation, and some of them going out the back door at some point in Russia,
or like a couple drones going missing,
like that, possibly. Yeah. So it's something that people aren't paying attention to. At the same time, Donald Trump is trying to sell the American people on this thing called Golden Dome, because he saw how Iron Dome it was not as successful as it was, because it can't handle the numbers of ballistic missiles that are being shot at it from the Iranians. But at times it's been successful, and he thinks he's going to build something similar over the entire United States to protect the United States from ballistic missiles and hypersonic glide vehicles with nuclear weapons from Russia and China. Here's the problem. The physics on this favors the offense in a big way.
Okay.
It's not like a football game. It is, the physics on this is really hard. Trump thinks we're going to build a system in space with space-based interceptors to take out ballistic missiles. They launch decoys, multiple reentry vehicles. It is a really complicated problem. And when your interceptors cost more than their ballistic missiles, you run into a math problem. We're seeing the math problem play out here in Iran right now.
Yes, sir.
Where we're trying to shoot down $35,000 drones with, in some cases, $12 million interceptors.
Yep.
In the case of THAAD interceptors, or the Patriot rounds are $1 to $2 million. The math doesn't work. We have a similar problem with his Golden Dome plan, which I estimate will cost between $500 billion and $1 trillion and won't work.
Yeah. I thought the wall was bad.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
That is a ton
of money. There's
been a lot of concern about the administration's request for voter information from states like Georgia and here in Arizona. We've been ordered to hand voter rolls over to the FBI without getting into any, the legal weeds or anything. What should everyday Americans, but more importantly, Arizonans right now, be worried about regarding this?
Well, I think the federal government taking over the infrastructure of voting across the country. One of the positive features of our system is we have over 2,000 counties with over 2,000 county recorders, people that administer these elections. It is very widely distributed.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for somebody to go in there and try to influence the outcome of an election or cheat in an election.
Yeah.
Because you got to cheat in a lot of different places.
They make it sound like it's so easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. In 2020, Steve Richer, a Republican county recorder here, did a really good job with the vote. And people attacked him and said, Donald Trump said that he really won here in Arizona. He didn't win. Listen to the Republican county recorder of Maricopa County, a professional guy who knew what he was doing, did a good job.
And showed his work.
Showed the work. Yep. And then, by the way, they did a partisan recount. The cyber ninjas did a partisan recount.
Yes, sir.
And it turned out that Joe Biden got more votes than he had previously counted, by something like, 90 votes or something.
Do you think that might be why he's still holding on to this, because they found more votes?
No, I think it is. He has such a ego. I think we've never seen any elected official in our country with an ego like this president. No. He can't accept that he lost, despite the fact that this guy won in 2016 as a reality TV guy. And then he won in 2024 as a convicted felon. He won both those elections. He should be able to take a victory lap and say, look at me. I'm the president of the United States. Despite being a felon, I won an election.
Yep.
That is, you got to give him some credit. And he can't accept that he lost in 2020. That is an ego that it's kind of hard to wrap your head around.
It is.
Somebody that is so fragile that he can't accept that he lost.
You're in the office right now.
Yeah, it is bizarre.
It is.
That he still cannot accept an election that happened 6 years ago that he lost, that there were 60 court cases and 60 judges, every single one of them said, no, dude, you lost that election.
There's
He needs
no
to get
massive
over it.
data fraud here.
Yeah. And then, then he uses every opportunity to try to divide us as a nation.
Yes.
But now, what they're trying to do is he's trying to get some control over the entire system. He's trying to make it harder for people to vote.
Yes.
The SAVE Act is not like voter ID that we have here in Arizona. We have voter ID. You have to show an ID to vote.
Yep.
If I go to the polling place, I have to show an ID to vote.
Yep.
The way it works here, it's fine. What they're trying to do is make it really hard for you to try to prove citizenship.
Yep.
If you, let's say you got to bring your birth certificate, but what if your name changed? What if you, for a woman who got married and changed their name?
Yeah.
Well, they have to get their birth certificate reprinted with their new name. The hospital I was born in 1964, that place is closed.
Yeah.
I mean, where do I go? I mean, my birth certificate came from the hospital.
Yeah.
You're like, where would I go?
Yeah.
And here in Arizona, we've got 300 and something thousand tribal members. A lot of them don't have birth certificates. They don't have passports.
Yes.
So he's trying to put roadblocks in front of people to make it hard for people to vote.
And the exit polling for the election showed that the same communities that they're trying to disenfranchise were the ones that showed up and voted for people like you. That's the thing that
Yeah.
I hope people see that correlation
Yeah.
of why this is happening. So as I told you,
Well, actually, a lot of people voted for me,
well, a ton of people.
Yeah.
I mean,
including you.
and they better do it again too. But as I told you, my son let me know that I was interviewing an astronaut today. But that gives you a rare perspective on space policy, which you were kind of just talking about. So my follow-up question to that would be, how should the U.S. be thinking about the future of space exploration and the commercial space industry over the next 20 years?
Well, the commercial space industry and what people like Elon Musk did with SpaceX has been really helpful for us getting a lot of stuff into low Earth orbit.
Yeah.
And the amount of business and the economy that's been created in low Earth orbit and even above that in medium Earth orbit is substantial.
Okay.
And it's helped our economic growth. Flying with people in space, we still have people on the space station. Right now, some of that is occasionally there are commercial flights with tourists to the space station.
Is there really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Very
a
cool.
company called Axiom
Okay.
Space takes up tourists on a Dragon capsule, which is a SpaceX capsule. So they basically buy the rocket and capsule.
Okay.
They put a professional astronaut, a couple people I used to work with, Peggy Whitson and Mike, a guy named Mike L.A. And
So you got a retirement plan.
yeah, well, that's a retirement job. They still fly up to the space station. I think they've each done it a couple times. We're going to send people around the moon here, maybe next month.
Oh, I didn't know that one
Yeah,
either.
in the Orion spacecraft,
See, I'm
and
not paying attention.
in a few years, maybe people down to the surface of the moon. Hopefully,
would be
before the
cool.
Chinese go to the moon, and one day, maybe in your son's lifetime, he'll see. Maybe it'll be him. Maybe he'll go to Mars someday.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be pretty cool. And
Yeah. Did you ever think you would see that though? The possibility of commercialization of the moon?
well, that's what we're going to try to do now.
Isn't that
There's
kinda
actually commercialization on the moon, and I think we could. I think we could do that, and we could make it.
neat? Good.
We can make the business case for it, and there's certain things we can, do on the moon.
So should the federal government have oversight of that, or should that stay in the civilian sector?
Well, I think the federal government also often, and NASA often does the hard stuff first,
Okay.
and then paves the way for commercial companies
Great.
to do this, and then to do things at scale.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see that with the moon, and eventually, probably long after I'm gone, with Mars.
Yeah.
I'm not in the camp of people like Elon, who is very motivated to send people to Mars, who thinks we're going to have thousands of people living on Mars in 10 years.
Mm,
That ain't happening.
no.
But I do want to see people go there, and I am very supportive of exploration and those efforts, because we get a lot out of it.
Yeah. What are I'm going to ask you 5 things here, but what are something that we get out of space exploration in your experience that people wouldn't even think of?
Well, when we try to do hard things with people, we often create not only new things and invent new things, sometimes we invent new industries.
Okay.
And our aerospace industry is hundreds, probably hundreds of billions of dollars at this point.
Yeah.
And a lot of the technology that goes into all these, aircraft and systems and equipment, came from NASA. One of the reasons we miniaturized computers to try to make them smaller was to go to the surface of the moon.
Okay.
Or space shuttle. So the space shuttle was designed in the 1970s. And we're trying to design basically a rocket ship, a spaceship, and an airplane, all in the same thing. And this airplane, by the way, is going to fly at 25 times the speed of sound, so 17,500 miles an hour, and it's going to have to fly into the atmosphere and land like an airplane. Now, here's the problem. We don't have wind tunnels that can do flow, or, if I want to get really technical about it, match the Reynolds number for Mach 25 flight into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So what did we do? Well, we created this thing called computational fluid dynamics, which is the simulation of fluid flow, including, the atmosphere over a wing and over a spacecraft. We did it on computers.
Huh.
That whole thing was created for the space shuttle, to figure out how to fly this spaceship into the atmosphere and keep it under control. CFD, computational fluid dynamics, is now used for like anything that has fluid flow over it, through it, on it. Cars, trucks, airplanes, pipes, surfboards, anything like
stuff.
that. And it's from the software and the system that NASA created in the 1970s.
Next time, can we just talk about aircraft
Space?
and space? And, that would be awesome.
So let me tell you about the Working Americans Tax Cut.
You know what? I like that.
We dropped this bill yesterday, and it's to bring some fairness to our tax system. When Donald Trump did his big, beautiful bill, 75% of the benefit, the tax cut, went to billionaires and millionaires. And people that are hardworking people at the bottom, they got like 4%. And by the way, their part expires in 2028. The 74% for the rich people, that goes on forever.
Permanent now.
Yeah, it's kind of a ripoff for middle class and hardworking people.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is fix that. So we've got legislation where if you make $46,000 a year, you're not going to pay any federal tax anymore. And if you're a single person making $80,500, or a married couple up to $161,000, you're going to pay less in tax.
Those are good.
And it's going to be paid for by people who make more than $1 million a year.
Nice.
So it's fully paid for.
Yeah.
They're going to pay for the tax cut for working class and middle class people to try to balance out this, I think it's fair to say, obscene thing that Donald Trump did to give more wealth to the wealthiest Americans. You know what he also put in there? It used to be if you bought a corporate jet or a private jet, you could depreciate the cost all the way down to zero. So you can get a tax deduction over 7 years.
Wow.
They made it 1 year. So 1 year depreciation, they made it permanent. So if you buy, let's say somebody's going to buy a $50 million airplane, and they're in the 37% tax bracket, they get 37% of that $50 million. So, what's that? That's $18,500,000. Yeah, $18,500,000 back like that.
Wow.
Yeah. First year.
Nice little loophole they added there.
Nice little loophole, and it's permanent. How are you?
Hello, sir. Big
Hey.
fan of yours.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I'm so excited to meet you.
What you got? What do you got there?
Oh, I've got romantasy books.
Let me see. Wouldn't read it.
No, I
See
don't
this one?
expect you to.
Wouldn't read this one either.
That's totally fine. Oh my gosh, it's late.
So, Senator Kelly, one of the things that we know people are focused on right now is cost of living issues.
Mm-hmm.
We already talked a little bit about it, about cost of gas, cost of groceries. But another thing is we have teachers and educators that walk into the classroom and they don't have enough money to buy the things that they need. And we're here in this amazing bookstore.
Yeah.
And to think the people that are teaching our future and educating our future aren't having the funding that they need. So what's something that we can do in the government, or a bill that could be proposed,
Yeah.
that could help out not just Arizonans, but really all Americans.
Well, the Working Americans Tax Cut Act that I introduced this week is a big piece of this, to cut taxes for working class, hardworking people. And then it's paid for by, people who are millionaires and billionaires, make more than $1 million a year. I was with this janitor this week, a guy he's like a janitor in California, and he said an interesting thing. He said there are cafeteria workers that he works with that can't afford food. There are IT workers that he knows that can't afford internet service. And there are healthcare workers that can't afford a doctor. That's the country we live in today. Working class people, people that keep this country, moving along and running, can't afford just like a normal life.
Yeah.
And they're stressed out about it. And they can't pay their rent. They can't buy groceries. Can't afford health care. And it's just not fair. And this system was created by people. I grew up in a time when hard work paid off.
Yeah.
Hard work still sort of pays off, but it pays off for somebody else.
Yeah.
Like those hardworking people, they're working hard. They're creating wealth. They're doing something, but somebody else, the money's getting deposited in somebody else's bank account.
Yes, sir.
And then those people get richer, and they have more money than they can spend in multiple lifetimes. And we have people that when they become retired, they can't work anymore, they wind up in poverty or homeless.
Yeah.
We have to fix this.
Absolutely.
This is not sustainable.
Absolutely.
So that legislation is a good step in the right direction.
It sounds a lot better than tax on tips to me.
Yeah, well, tax on tips.
Or no tax on tips, sorry.
No tax on tips.
Sorry.
I mean, you're helping people that are tipped workers, generally don't make a lot of money.
No.
So I'm not opposed to that. The problem with that is, a couple things.
Yes.
It's not a huge percentage of workers that are tipped workers.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, one of the features that Donald Trump put in his bill is that expires in 2028.
Yes, sir.
And the big tax cuts for the millionaires and the billionaires, that's permanent.
Yes, sir. You know what? Thank you, sir, for the interview.
Hey.
But before we go, Can you just tell the listeners where they can support you or what they should be supporting right now?
Well, go to markkelly.com and appreciate all the support out there. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.